It's just connecting now. Wonderful. Good morning again, and thank you so much for joining us for our Productivity Ninja Skill Booster, Managing Email Overwhelm. It is such a huge topic for everyone right now, especially during lockdown in many states and during COVID. For the last 18 months, we know that emails have just been getting really, really much harder to manage. So today's Skill Booster will give you some really great tips on how to just overcome that overwhelm a little bit and hopefully find it a little bit more calm in your day. My name is Julie Jones. I work as a productivity ninja here at Think Productive with Matt and a few other of the ninjas, and we love talking about productivity. So please keep in touch. If you need my contact details, feel free to take a screenshot. I'll remind you of these at the end as well. And it's, we would just love to keep connected with you guys and help wherever we can. We know everyone's doing it really tough right now. So please keep in touch. As a company, our vision is a world where work is full of purpose, clarity, and focus, and where no one dreads Monday mornings. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I know that emails is creating a lot of stress right now, and that really takes that joy out of work. So we really would love today, our goal today is to help you with some tips that will give you a little bit more, stress-free environment around your emails. And we like to think of emails when we run our full inbox to zero workshops, which we do a lot of. We talk about creating more fun and productivity around your inbox. That may sound a little unlikely, but I can guarantee you that we do that a lot for the businesses we work with. So if you need more info on that, we can talk about that at the end. We also love our workshops to be very interactive. So as I mentioned, I'm going to get you guys to talk to me in the chat box, and I've got a little poll as well for you. And we love to make sure that our workshops include obviously great content from the books that Graham has written, and we've got other materials that we draw on for our workshops to make them really engaging and very much researched around things like our brain science, so that we know we're tapping into the right activities for productivity and well-being. And we have great resources like our Productivity Ninja Academy, which participants in our workshops have access to for more and more content. So if you need more details, please let me know towards the end. Today, I'm going to focus though on managing email overwhelm. We're going to start with talking about why we're overwhelmed. We've got some really interesting stats around particularly our emails and how they impact us on a day-to-day basis. And then I'm going to give you my top 5 tips and resets on how to get through your inbox in a little bit more of a a productive way that helps us to stay focused and really helps us to get through the clutter of emails. I'm going to talk about these top 5 topics. I'm not going to go through those in detail now because I'm going to get straight into the content, but I will mention that these are kind of our top 5 that are going to really make a difference for you guys in the short term. So my first question to you guys, and I would love this in the chat box, please. If you can, please add to the chat box in 1 or 2 words, or emojis if you prefer, how is email currently affecting your work and your well-being? I'm just going to pause and wait for some of you to add some thoughts into the chat box. Overtaking it. Oh, I love the emoji. Thank you for that one. Overwhelming. Oh goodness, there's some crying going on in here. There's some crying and there's some sad faces. Oh, there's a very happy smiley face there from Kylie. Kylie might already be a ninja. Wonderful. Distracting. Yeah, an increase. Everybody working from home, we definitely are seeing more emails. Yeah, overwhelming. We've got some more tears. Oh, Wendy, feel like I'm drowning. Yeah, it's really difficult out there. Missing some emails. Yeah, we do have that fear of missing, don't we? We worry that we're missing what we can't see as it sort of falls off the page. Yeah, okay. So everyone, if you guys are looking at the chat comments, you can see that everyone's feeling the same. It's a really difficult space right now. Wow. Thank you for that interactivity. That's wonderful. There's lots of, really interesting thoughts there. So thank you. I'm going to get really into the detail now about why that is the case, why we're all feeling so overwhelmed with our emails. These are some stats from Campaign Monitor and Adobe Research, which was in 2019. So remember, this was kind of right as COVID was starting. So the stats here, I think, are underestimated. Just bear that in mind. Email is a constant and major distraction. I'm reading those words off the slide because they're so important. Yeah, it's so, so important that we realize the amount of emails that we get, the amount of this form of communication. Generally, in most inboxes, this was back in 2019, remember, so I think it's gone up significantly since COVID. We're waiting for the new stats to come out. We usually receive around about 120 emails a day. And for some people, it's a lot higher than that, depending on the kind of role that you're in. We usually send about 40. And the big difference there between those two is often things like CCs and newsletters and stuff. So yeah, there is a big difference, but there's an awful lot of email traffic going around. It's estimated from this research that we spend 3.5 hours per day checking emails. And that's 40% of our day spent in this particular form of communication. So I would really encourage you guys to think about this. How much is that draining your day? How much is that taking from your potential productive space, from your well-being, from your ability to focus and pay attention to the work at hand? We know that emails are, they're here to stay. It's a very, very big form of communication. It is one form of communication that is growing really, really strongly. The estimates from the Radicati research and the Adobe research were that it was going to reach around 347 billion emails by 2023. I would imagine that when we see the new stats, that's going to go up even more as a result of COVID. It's a huge number. Now, I do love sharing this little story. This is a fun one. The other impact that emails have on us is they did some research. They tested people's ability to problem solve. Smoking marijuana, it dropped their IQ points by 4. Email distraction, however, dropped their IQ points by 10. You can see the impact. This is really significant on the way we operate when we're trying to focus, when we're trying to get stuff done, when we're trying to be productive. And in terms of our ability to focus, when we have this anxiety rising through this issue around emails. That was from some King's College London work. So yeah, there's some really interesting research out there. We know that bad email is the primary source of office interruptions. And it can often lead us to these really inefficient and long-winded communication trails. As a result of this, it stops our focus. It stops our ability, as I mentioned, to get really in the zone, and it creates stress and overwhelm. I would just like to pause now, and actually I'm going to run a little poll. How many times a day do you think that you check your emails? Let me just go to my poll. Okay, my polling session is not working for some reason. That's okay. In the chat box, I won't run the poll. I would love to know, how many times a day do you think you check your emails? Is it kind of, 1, 2, 3, always open? So Judith's saying constantly, it's all the time. Yeah, 50 times a day, Anne. Yeah, it's always open. Okay, interesting. Most people are saying always open. Yep. Okay, that's really telling, really, really telling. Yeah, and we look at it, Rachel, you're dead right. We look at it every time it dings. Yeah. And Melanie's saying, even with the alerts turned off, we still are constantly checking that inbox. Here's some more stats for you, which are quite alarming in terms of our desire, particularly when we're working from home, to be connected, to have some form of connection with the team around us, versus productivity, the impact that it has on our productivity. So this is again from that Adobe email usage research back in 2019 again. 52% of us check emails before we get to work. Imagine the impact that that is having on our ability to actually have distinct space between work and home. Yeah, really important for our sense of well-being. And we know, we talk about our human, not superhero ninja, we need to have this time to recharge and de-stress before we get back into work. Yet often we're checking emails before we even start the day. We know that from this research. Millennials and Gen Xers, I know I've probably got heaps of you guys in the room today, are checking emails. 25% of you are checking emails on holiday. That's really encroaching on our personal time, really encroaching on our sense of well-being. It's also estimated in this research 21 minutes per day we waste. And imagine this is based on the fact that on average, people are saying they check their emails 15 times a day. But for most of us in the chat box, we're saying that our emails are constantly on, we're constantly checking. Imagine how much time in your day is being wasted because of this. So what can we do about this? What can we do about these stats? I wanted to give you some tools that you can use straight away. When we are in control of our emails and our inbox, it increases our attention and focus. We know this from so much research that we've done, and so many of the Getting Our Inbox to Zero programs that we run for our businesses that we work with, and the teams that come back to us and say, it's made such a difference. It increases our clarity and it reduces stress. And it's a more efficient way to get more done. So I would really encourage you guys to think about even these top 5 tips today. Get these happening for yourself right now, and it will significantly change your relationship with emails and with your inbox. So let's get into these top 5 tips and resets. And please take notes, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you lots of tips here. The first email tip I'm going to give you is don't overplay emails. Email is just one form of communication. Don't overplay it. Now, it was a joke. This was my attempt at a joke. Aristotle didn't say that. This is what we say. Every ninja that works globally with our business, we talk about the fact that emails are just one form of communication. Yeah. We forget that there are so many other forms of communication around us. Yeah. Picking up the phone, having a meeting, chatting to friends and colleagues, having instant chat messaging. There are lots of forms of communication, and we tend to think that email is our work. And I had a very interesting discussion with a young lady a while ago now in a workshop where she took such great pride in her emails, which was wonderful. She had fantastic email etiquette. She was really keen to make sure that every email was perfectly scripted. But that is not what we are paid to do. Yeah. We are not paid to spend all day writing emails. That is not what we're bonused against or KPI'd against. It's not what our job is. This is one form of communication, so really don't overplay it, okay? And we have to understand that every piece of communication that we put out there is a step towards the outcome that we're trying to achieve if we have projects or we're trying to make sure we structure our day. So make it count, make those emails really count, but make sure that you put them in context of everything else that's happening within your day. From Anita, instant messaging can be really distracting. Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole nother discussion in our comms strategy workshops, helping teams with getting great comms approaches together. We talk a lot about all of these different distractions. So yeah, it's the emails are the number one at the moment, but there's lots of other things that can distract us too. My second top tip, turn off notifications. I don't know how many of you have them turned on. Please, please, please turn them off. I worked with a guy recently, CEO of a company actually, that we did an inbox to zero for him and his team. And it was quite startling. We do, again, very practical sessions. Everyone had their laptops there ready to go to get to zero. And every single time a notification came in, his computer pinged, his phone pinged. He was like Pavlov's dog. He didn't know where to go. And that was happening constantly through the session until he turned off those notifications. You will be amazed at how much freedom that gives you. And this talks to what we call our stealth and camouflage ninja. Just a quick aside on this one, if you don't know how to turn off notifications, we're going to email you. We're going to send you one email after this session. We're not going to fill your inbox back up again. We're going to send you one email with some reminders. And we're going to send you a little note on how to turn off your notifications. If you're in Outlook, Google, they're all fairly similar. So we're going to share with you those details. But Stealth and Camouflage Ninja is about protecting our attention. It's about going dark, hiding to get stuff done. And remember that not only can we turn off notifications, we can actually work offline if we do need to work within our inbox. And this is a really simple little button. So it's on your send and receive tab. You can actually just go in Outlook to work offline. It's just like flight mode. Putting our phone on do not disturb, putting our emails on do not disturb allows us to get our focus and attention on the things that we really need to achieve in the day. So yes, please turn off notifications and make sure you're thinking about your little stealth and camouflage ninja hiding away to get stuff done. Number 3, our email ninja mindset. This is the biggest change that I want you guys to really consider today. We are going to stop constantly checking whenever your emails tell you to check, or your notifications, which are now going to be off, and we're going to process. And you process when you choose to, in batches. Okay, so we're going to talk about this a little bit more as we go through the other tips in a second and resets. But process, think of stopping using that word. And it's really hard. When I first started teaching this stuff, I constantly use the word checking. Yeah, we check emails. We just go and have a look and see what's there. And we look and see how much is there and we freak out, or we get really anxious because there's just so much to do. Yeah, so we're going to stop that mindset. We're going to stop checking and we're going to process. We're going to use this mindset to help us to take control of our inbox, and we're going to use it to process in batches. And this is really important for us to think about structuring our day so that we have time to go and do work in our inbox. If there's work coming through, and often there are definitely tasks that come through email, and processing that in batches really helps, so we can designate times to do that rather than just checking, and not actually doing anything with the stuff that's there other than going, oh my God, there's so much. Okay, so processing your emails is your new language. And I'd love to see you guys in the chat box thinking about that. I am going to process my emails. And this is so important because if you think about this, principle comes through in a lot of the research and the work that we do, the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 80% of the emails that come to our inbox require no action at all. Does that sound startling? When you consider, when we talked about that 120 that we receive, 40 that we send, most of the emails that we get to our inbox require no action. They're often newsletters, they're for information, they're CCs, they're just stuff that we don't really need to do anything with. Yet often we think that the first option is to reply. Yeah. Remember the Pareto principle. We talk about this in lots of workshops. 20% of the emails that we produce will give us 80% of our results. Like 20% of the products that we sell or the services that we provide give 80% of the results. Yeah, it's a really proven scientific principle. Michelle's just saying, I get emails that require action immediately or in an hour. That's really interesting, Michelle, and I will talk about that a little bit shortly. Is really thinking about if people are sending you emails that need that speed of response, why are they emailing? Why are they not picking up the phone if there are urgent things to happen? Because that's kind of, maybe it could be that that's the kind of expectation that's been set within the organization. If our role is customer service and it's very email led, that could be where we're at. Customers or boss, okay. So it could be that we need to reframe the expectations. How quickly can I return to those emails? And is it really needed in an hour? Is it immediate action? I guess it's just looking at those things in perspective. That's a bit of our email etiquette kind of stuff. I'm just going to check. There's another message there from Anita. Oh no, that was on the instant messaging. Yeah, cool. So the 80-20, think about this approach. Which of my emails do I need to do something with? Which can I just file, get rid of? Yeah, rather than assuming that default response is that every email is to be replied to. It could be that every default response should be file or delete before we get to then process the emails that really need us to do something with them. Okay, I hope that helps on that one. Tip number 4, the pros and cons of mobile email. Now, often when we about, we'll check emails before work, often we're doing that on mobile. Yeah. Really would love, again, in the chat box, maybe just chuck some thoughts in there. Do you have mobile email on your phone? Do you check your emails on your phone? And I deliberately use the word check here. Yes, there's lots of yeses. Okay, if you can, please take emails off your phone. Okay, especially when we're working from home, we don't need it on the phone as well. Yeah. When we're traveling, if we have a role where we're often out and about traveling a lot, then mobile email can be a good way to just keep on top of a few things that might need your attention. But when you are checking emails on your phone constantly, it is checking. It's really hard to process your emails on your mobile phone. Yeah. It's really hard to process. How do we do this? Felicity, you need to go into your phone settings. If you're on Apple, you'll find, just Google how to remove email from your phone, but you just need to literally log out of your account, I think. It's as simple as that, and it will stop pulling emails into your mobile phone. Yeah. I think on Outlook, if you are working through Microsoft Teams and Outlook, it is on a work phone. Okay, work phone, maybe leave it to one side. You can switch off and turn that off and don't need it during the day, during the evenings or the mornings before you start work, Jennifer. Then maybe that stays on your work phone. If you have those work emails on your personal phone, you have every ability to take those off. And just know, guys, it's really easy to put it back on as well if you needed to. If there was a reason, if you were out and about, you needed to have it on your phone, it's so easy to set back up again. Yeah. And again, Chantel, yeah, saying expectations at work because you have a work phone, that you have work emails. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, sometimes the expectations we set are interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and Tomoko, this is really interesting too. Our corporate culture does often kind of say to us that this is the expectation, that email should always be replied to straight away. And it's an expectation. It's a cultural thing. It's something that we set, that we need to, I think, everybody have a bit of a look at top down in the organization and think about the role that emails play in our network of communication. There was also one little comment I saw. Tim there said, good picture. Yeah, Tim, this is actually a really interesting photo. If you Google this guy, this is a Taiwanese man that plays Pokemon Go. It's actually out there collecting Pokemons. Yes, it's quite a fun one. Yes, I think, Kylie, you're right. It is a choice to view or not to view. We don't have to open it. Yeah, I think if your business phone has your emails on it, is we need to just decide not to do that. It is, I guess it's hard. We know that notifications and the little positive messages that we sometimes get, people are talking to me. It gives us a little bit of a dopamine hit in the brain, and those little hits become addictive. So it's very easy to become addicted to checking emails and to opening things like Facebook and Instagram and getting all those notifications. So really think about, what do you want to be addicted to? Yeah. I know I have a phone addiction. I'm a little bit addicted to my phone too at the moment. I'm running different businesses through the phone and stuff. When I'm looking at my socials, it's about business, and that can become really addictive. So think about where you want to put your focus. Can you be ruthless? Use your ruthlessness ninja, which I always find hard to say, but use that to help just try some new things and stop doing some of the stuff that's draining your time, your energy, and your focus. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Now, we talk a lot about inbox to zero. Why zero? There's some really important reasons why we need to be at zero. Okay, this is what an inbox to zero looks like. This is my next tip for you. Number 5. It can be really, I guess, a little bit startling when you see a zero inbox, but this is what we mean by zero inbox. We literally mean no emails in your inbox. This is what an inbox to zero looks like. It can be so liberating. It can help to allay the stress, the anxiety, to stop the overwhelm when you get to this place. If you manage your inbox to zero every day so that you leave the office and you go, I'm done. Everything's done. Judith, how? Yeah, there's a lot of hows. We show you this in the book. It is chapter 4 in the book, takes you through the whole process. And of course, we do run workshops to help you get to zero. We get to zero on the day. But our top tips, the reason that zero is so important is because it gives you this freedom to not be really controlled by your inbox. This is how we do it. We create what we call a triage area. So we create some simple folders, simple folder structure. And Melanie's saying over 5,000 emails. Yeah, it's really easy. When you do the inbox to zero process, we can get 5,000 through in no time. You can get that done in less than an hour. It sounds impossible, but it's really true. I can see there's lots of questions about when's the next workshop. I think Matt's listening in. We need to set up an inbox to zero for you guys so that you can join us to do this work. It's usually a 2 to 3 hour workshop. In the 2 to 3 hours, we go through theory and we go through the practical nature of getting to zero. Okay, and we get 99% of people to zero in the workshop. It's really cool. And what we do is we do some of this work. I'm going to just give you a little bit of detail here because we can't cover much more in 4 minutes. We're almost at the end. But we set up 3 new processing folders. We set up an @action, an @reading, and an @waiting folder. Now, the @ symbol means that you can put them right near the top under your inbox. If you can see over to the left, and there's a small little section there. In Google, this automatically goes there. In your Outlook, you might need to just drag and drop these folders. But these sit right under your inbox. They become your processing folders. And think of this like a triage. Think of it like if you were in hospital, when you walk in, if you go into emergency, the nurses look at you and say, okay, we need to do something about you straight away. Okay, now if you can do something in your inbox within 2 minutes, you do it. If it's going to take longer than 2 minutes, it goes into the action folder. It's like that nurse saying, right, you need action right now. The next folder, reading folder, is where you put all that stuff that you go, I don't need that right now. I don't need to do anything with it, but I want to read it later. I'm going to put it in my reading folder. Your waiting folder is a really important part too. This is where you put stuff that other people are doing the next step on. You've done your bit. Next bit goes into that folder. Okay, that is how you set up your inbox. It's really easy. Okay, and we have buckets. We have big buckets. I'm just going to talk about big buckets, a simple folder system, not lots and lots of little cups that you want to put lots of folders into. Because the power of Outlook and Google and some of the other email platforms is that the search function is really great. You don't need to be creating massive folder structures. Yeah, so Judith's saying, yes, so many little cups. Yeah, it can get really overwhelming then to try and find stuff. So think very simple folder structure, your top processing folders, and we always process to zero. We get rid of those emails. There's always, when an email lands in your inbox, there's always something to do with it. Now I realize I am going to run out of time. I put in one bonus. So this is my 6th tip. This was a bonus tip, is about email etiquette. And our founder, Graham, who wrote the original book, talks about the fact that we get the email we deserve. That's a really important quote and is part of those expectation discussions we were just having. We get the email we deserve. If we set the expectation that we're always in our inbox and we're always going to get back to you straight away, then that's what our colleagues and our customers expect. If, however, we set some great email etiquette around our inbox and we say stuff like, maybe we have a line on the bottom of our emails that says, thanks so much for your email. If it's an auto response, I will get back to you as soon as possible, usually within 4 hours, usually within 24 hours, whatever that expectation is. We set the etiquette. We set the expectations. It's really important. And it's a great discussion to have with your teams. How do your teams feel about this? What can you do as a team to change those expectations and update them? In our very brand new workshop, our How to Supercharge Your Team Comms, we talk about a calm tone. This is a little acronym. CALM stands for a way to create great email etiquette and tone within your emails. We want to make sure when we're writing emails that they are clear and concise. Great subject lines, one thing in each email that you're asking for, not 3 or 4, and people get lost. Yeah, clearness, conciseness helps people to understand what's required. We also want to acknowledge the recipient. We need their input. We need to make sure they understand that they have an important role to play here. We also need to show positive intent. This is where leadership comes from, and it's very, very important that we show positive intent. We are leading by example on how we are creating the right tone in the email communication that we have. And we want to make sure that our emails are in line and nurture our culture and our values. So again, the discussion we just had around the expectations that we set. Does that match our culture and our values? Does it come through really loud and clear for our business? Okay, Judith, yes, good point. Auto responses do create extra email clutter for people. So it can be that you just put that as a sign-off line on your email so that every time people see your emails, they know that that's your expectation. Yeah, if they're replying to your email, they've already seen, oh, okay, Judith's only going to get back to me within the next 24 hours. If this is urgent, I might need to pick up the phone. Awesome. Thanks, Kylie. Okay, so we've very quickly gone through, we've covered why we're overwhelmed. And I hope some of those tips have helped you to maybe think about how you can create some more calmness into your day around emails. Thanks, Judith. And we've also talked about those 6 top tips and resets. I did throw in the bonus one there. Don't overplay emails. Please don't overplay it. It's a form of communication. Turn off your notifications. We will send you an email on how to do that if you need help with that. Stop checking and process. Yeah, process emails. Minimize your mobile emails wherever you can, and triage to 0 every day. Get your inbox to 0 before you leave at the end of the day. You'll be amazed at how much calmer you feel at the end of the day. And please, that little bonus one, practice email etiquette and set the expectations for your team and get them to help you manage that. Okay, now I am done. I'm 2 minutes over. I apologize. There's so much to talk about on this subject, but please keep in touch. If you have questions, I'm going to stay on the line at the end, and I think Matt will too. If anyone has specific questions, please let us know. We have got obviously lots of people interested in the Inbox to 0 program. So we will get in touch with you guys via the email we send you to see if you would like to sign up and do that program with us. We also have lots of other programs at the moment we've specifically designed to help people with working from home, with hybrid working, and around team comms. So please get in touch if there's anything that you or your team needs. Here are my details again. Thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day. I hope that supercharged your Friday and that you can, go forward maybe with a better sense of calm as you move into your weekend. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy the weekend, and enjoy Father's Day for any fathers out there. And we will look forward to talking to you soon. If you'd like to stay on the line, I will turn off the recording. I'm just going to stop the recording, and I will